More after this is automate, and we are now into week 3. So yeah, this is where things start to get serious. This week is definitely going to be a bit more intense than the last couple of weeks. We're going to get straight down to business. We're going to really now start to plan your online automated sales machine, and yeah, this is going to be an eye-opener for you, I'm sure. So we're going to start that journey with a bit of software called Geru, and that is a funnel building simulator. So it's not something like ClickFunnels. It doesn't create those funnels for you, but what it does is allow you to map out those funnels and put different elements in and really start to visualize that customer journey before you go building the funnel. And then on top of that, it has a really nice revenue simulation mechanism in there, that when all the right data's in there, we can tell it what our click-through rate is on Google, for example, versus Facebook, and what our price of our product is, and all that kind of stuff. And it's going to simulate the revenue potential based on those metrics. So without further ado, let's go and have a look. So first thing you want to do, obviously, make sure you go into your Asana workspace and that you're in the right section here. And there's a little bit about Geru just to tell you about it. And then there's a link here to take you out to Geru. And when you hit that, this is the page you're going to look at. Now, they do have a video on YouTube that's about 15 minutes long. It's probably worth watching in addition to this video because it just goes through the fundamentals. This marketing video here is all very well and good, but it is a marketing video. But ultimately, this sales page will tell you exactly what this is about. But the truth is, you don't need to worry about it. You're going to dive in and do this anyway, because this is literally one of the best tools I've come across in the last 5 or 10 years. And the reason, as I say, it's so good is because it allows you not only just to map out the funnels, but to also put in a revenue simulator. Now, at first glance, this can be a bit scary, but I've got to talk you through the process, walk you through the process, and show you how I've started to build the funnel for the 186 Cloud client and how you can do the same. You're going to want to spend a bit of time in here, that's for sure, but don't be scared by it because, yeah, it's really not as hard as you think. So you need to come here, click that link and create an account. You get a 30-day trial, I think, or 14-day trial. And then after that, it's very reasonable. They do have different deals going. And you might just want to try and subscribe or try and create an account and then bounce, i.e. don't complete the purchase, because I've got a feeling somewhere in their own funnel, there's maybe a 2 or 3 day delay, and then you get an offer, and it's probably a lifetime offer, which is going to be cheaper than the monthly. So it's not an expensive bit of software anyway, but as I say, it's definitely worth just going as if you're going to go and buy it, and then bomb out, come back to it in a couple of days' time and see if there's an offer there for you, or I suspect you would have had an email from them. If not, buy it anyway, and when you do, this is what it's going to look like. So yeah, let me start actually, let's get that off the page because that's going to be confusion. So when you first come into Geru, you're going to have this sidebar here, which is all your different elements, and you can hide that by clicking that button there. And then you've got this bar over here, which is fundamentally the traffic sources, the products and your expenses and stuff related to the funnel. So you're going to want to configure this first. So you can come in here and start to and put your product in. So I've already done this for 186. So I've used the terminology ARPU, which is average revenue per user. We don't have a fixed product with this particular client. You may have a fixed product, and if you do, you put it in here, and if you've got more than one product, you list them in here. And when you go to add a product, it's pretty straightforward. So you put the name of the product in, you select what type of product it is, you put the price point in, put the refund rate in there if you know that metric already, and the cost of the product for you to deliver it. So that's not the advertising cost or anything like that. That's you know, if it's an ebook and it costs you 20 quid to build, and you sell it for 100 quid, then I wouldn't put the 20 quid in there, because that 20 quid is just a one-off, you know, so it's 100% profit in that sense. But you get the idea, and you want to build and put all your different products in there. You then want to come down to your traffic sources, and again, I've done this just to save a bit of time, but you can add a new traffic source. So with 186, for example, we're definitely going to be using LinkedIn, and I've decided already that that's going to be predominantly a messenger campaign, and then we're going to use a Google single keyword ad group, which I'll come on to later. But outside of that, I'm not going to be looking at any other traffic. I'm not going to be using Facebook, I'm not using Twitter, and I'm not using native ad networks at this time. But you could do if you wanted to, and again, you want to come down here and put that traffic source in. So if it's a Google, for example, you set up a Google ad, we might call it Google ad. We won't do that yet. That will actually be empty until you've got a funnel in there, so you wouldn't see that, but ultimately we do connect it to that traffic. This will have a drop down menu in there, so you can see Google being in Google ads, and then you could put either the estimated monthly visitors or the existing monthly visitors. So if you've already got a site and you can go into your Google Analytics and you can see what visitors are coming to the site, then you can put that in as a free traffic source. Or if you're doing paid ads already, you might be able to say, well, I get 1,000 visits and I pay, £1.50 a click or whatever it might be, and save that. And equally, I'll save it, but I'll ultimately delete it because that's obviously not right. But you get the idea. Put that metric in there. Put those there's as much data as you can in there as possible, and then kind of move on. Get rid of that. That's fine. And then your expenses, as I say, if you've got fixed expenses, which you will have, you might want to put them in here, but be careful that when you do another funnel, you don't necessarily, of course, duplicate those expenses. So it depends how you want to do that. If you do want to add your expenses in here, again, you'll see there's a list. You've got web hosting and content creation, and I've just bundled in all the software into one pot. But if you wanted to break that down, you could do, and you could put your weekly costs in there for your accounting or whatever else it is. And say the more you spend time on this, the more accurate that funnel simulation is going to be at the end of it. So you want to spend a little bit of time doing that. Once you've done that, that's pretty straightforward. That's it. Up here, you'll find access to start a new project, and we'll do that in a minute. You've got a folder in here where you'll see that there's other, you can just segregate that data if you wanted to. And then most importantly, you've got this up here, which is the funnel blueprints. Now, if you're familiar with ClickFunnels, or you know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about a funnel, you'll know that there are lots and lots and lots of funnels out there. Now, when you come to Geru and you sign up with an account, all of these funnels are preloaded in here, and you can start to kind of get an idea of what they might look like. So I'll use sales funnel as a good example, just to show you the complexity of it ultimately, and what a sort of a complex funnel could look like at the end of it. I don't suggest you actually use one of these blueprints, mind you. So this will show me down to the funnel here, and then I can start to see. Now I'm just going to make that a bit smaller so we can see that whole page, and I'm just going to talk you through what's really going on here. So, as I say, what this is suggesting, you've got a Facebook campaign coming into a sales page. You've then got some conversion metrics, two different products on that sales page going through to an order page, which then takes you to a thank you page. That order confirmation page is linked up to an autoresponder, which gets an initial email, takes you through to another sales page. That's an upsell, no doubt. And then it waits a day, sends an email, again pushing back to the sales page, and then an order form and a thank you. So that's kind of one fairly good example of what a typical sales funnel might look like. But as I say, it could be very different for you, and all funnels are pretty unique, which is why I don't suggest you use them. But it's good to have a look at these so you can start to see how different pages connect to different things and the relationship there, so that when you do start to build your own funnel, you understand what it should look like. So again, this one just as an example, a squeeze page funnel, traffic coming from Facebook, going to an opt-in page, to a thank you page, add to some automation, over to a content page. Pretty straightforward. And as I say, as we go through this process, we're going to talk a lot more about that. And you don't necessarily need to be as complex here once you've set it up. This is a tool for you to visualize it, to help you set it up. So this doesn't have to be perfectly accurate, but if it is, and you've got the right metrics in it, and you hit the simulation button, I'm guessing that's got some data in there. Yeah, it has. This is going to kind of give you an idea of what that funnel would do. So clearly at this point that funnel is not worth having, right? I mean, again, it's probably because I've just used some dummy data that was in there, but you get the idea. And that's actually the point, that once you set this up with your own funnel, you'll start to see how and where you might need to potentially make changes to that funnel and how you could improve it before you really start to get your wallet out and spend any money on it. So we're going to have a look at the 186 funnel, which I've already started to build. And as I say, I did this offline first because you didn't want to sit and watch me do the whole thing, but I'm going to show you how I did it and a bit of logic behind that, so you can start to build your own. And effectively what I did, I've got a big whiteboard behind me, so I tend to start by thrashing that out in my head as to think, well, what do I want to do on that sales page? So this is the home page that we're talking about for this 186. We're going to come on to that later, but it's a video sales page, long form sales page, with a main call to action, which I think, pretty sure now, is going to take them down a quiz route and then give them a bit of content at the end, and that's going to be our lead generation mechanism. So in order for me to visualize that better, I come in here and I start dragging these elements in. So you just drag this element in. Once it's in there, I'm going to move that a little bit out of the way. In fact, I'm going to delete that one because that's now all of a sudden that's connected into my funnel, which is not what I wanted to do. Just see if I can go back, get rid of that. Yeah. You'll see in a minute actually that when you start with a blank piece of paper, obviously that doesn't happen. You just start to add these initial elements in, and then as you do, you connect them up yourself. Let's go back into that funnel that I've started, and as I say, I'll walk you through what's going on there. Now with this particular client, the 186 project that I'm working on, it's going to be very hard to do a simulation on revenue because we don't have a product price as such, and the funnel that we're setting up is a lead generation funnel rather than an order funnel. So we're not going to be able to see initially what the return on that is, but as time goes by and we start to get some data, we definitely will. So effectively what I've done is I've just started to drag these elements in, and then I've connected the page up, and I'll show you how I've done that once I get rid of that little bit there. Okay, so I've connected up these campaigns to LinkedIn and Google. This is the landing page. I don't know why that's not letting me click on there. Normally that would click, and maybe it's because I'm in presentation mode. I don't know quite what's going on there, but you'll see it when you do this. When you click into that element, that will actually pop up and give you the options to then go in and start putting in the metrics and the conversion rates and that kind of stuff. And I say, whilst this might look very complicated or a little bit complicated, it's actually pretty simple. So this is 2 traffic sources going to a video landing page. Main call to action being the quiz funnel being an opt-in to take them to a yes or a no, so they're a good fit or they're a bad fit. If they're a good fit, there's an option to book into a calendar, and then that takes them to a thank you page. I've then connected this up down here because I'm starting to look at that revenue generating process, and this is then going to become the sales page and maybe the order page, but I'm not sure, as I say, that this client will necessarily take orders like that online. And you can see up here that this here is a pop-up, so this is an exit intent. So if someone hits the landing page and they go to exit, they don't want to take any action, the pop-up will say, hang on a minute, do you want to have something for nothing? There'll be another lead magnet there that will take them through to a thank you page, and then there'll be a timer here to send them an email, and then a short email series which effectively will push them back through into the quiz. So I say this is really for your benefit. It's not you don't have to be showing this to anybody else. And say when you get your head into this, you're going to start to want to really play around with that before we come back into Thrive and start building all the pages, because this is a page, this is a pop-up, this is a page, this is a quiz, this is an opt-in. And thankfully in Thrive, all of these elements are equally templates that we could just go and pull out from Thrive and then customize. So it's not that hard to do, but we're definitely going to want to know first what the route is, because as I say, this quiz funnel here, which I'm pretty sure is going to be the route I take, it might be that when I get to the end of it I have a brainwave and think maybe there's something else, but it could be as simple that someone comes to the landing page, there's an opt-in to get a price list or something, and then they might get the price list delivered and then a thank you page, and that's it. And of course the only point of the initial landing page is you want them to opt in, right? So don't forget that. Don't think, oh, I've got to try and get them all the way through to the end here. The only purpose of the initial landing page, which we're going to come on to in the next video, is that this is going to capture their information so that we can then start to market to them. So this needs to be really clear, really concise, all of your keywords and all that kind of stuff in here. We're going to put this content together very strategically, and I'll come on to that in the next video. But the purpose of that one page is to get them to opt in. That's it. So that funnel is designed purely to get them to opt in. And then this mechanism up here is either going to be a MailChimp or Active Campaign or a Pipe Drive. This is all Thrive. and this funnel builder is really just for us, so that once we've finished this, we can come into this, hit this revenue simulation button and get a figure out at the end. Now, I suspect if I do this now, because I'm not finished, that's just going to come up with probably a minus load of money. Yeah, but that's because I've not finished and put these metrics in. Now, I think for the benefit of this, once I've done that, I'll maybe just do another short video once it's all complete, so you can see exactly what that looks like. And as I say, I don't know why that's not allowing me to click in these, but you'll definitely see when you add your own account, you'll be able to click into these elements and change those metrics. These little things up here are fairly self-explanatory, like you get with any sort of visual builder. You know, delete, duplicate, settings, that kind of thing. And of course, you want to set them to the right, right settings for. I don't want Egyptian pound, Great British pound. Right. Okay, I'm sure it's in there somewhere. Oh, there it is. No, it isn't. Pound sterling. Right, there you go. Anyway, you get the idea, and you customize that a little bit. And these processing rates down here are, I guess, probably the industry standard for Stripe or PayPal. But again, you can change those. And yeah, you're going to want to spend a bit of time in here now. If after this initial video you're looking at that and thinking, oh my god, the first thing to do is go over to Geru's YouTube channel and have a look at their intro videos. There is, as I say, quite a good 15-20 minute video that just gives you a good overview, and then dive in and start playing around with it. And if you think, you know what, I just don't understand, then go and have a look at the blueprints, load those blueprints up, and start to visualize your product and your service within these templates. And yeah, there's no right or wrong here, right? You can do a template, muck it up, delete it, start again, it doesn't matter. The whole point being that what we really want to do is to end up with one simple funnel to get us started. So depending on your objective, whether you're wanting leads, or whether you're trying to book an event, or whether you're selling a product or whatever, that's obviously going to be very different. But you can, from here, as you can see, just add all these elements in just by dragging them over. He says, as I say, I don't know why, maybe because I'm in presentation mode, that's not quite working as I'd expect it to. Certainly not doing that normally. But you get the idea. And then if you really get stuck, dive over to Fiverr, find someone who's experienced in building funnels in ClickFunnels or lead pages or something like that, and reach out to them and say, look, I'm putting together a new site. This is what I'm selling. I need some help putting that funnel together. You know, invest 30, 40, 50 quid or whatever it might be to get someone to do this for you then to take away and amend and go from there. So on that note, I'm going to leave you to play around with this for a little while, and I will see you in the next module.